Yellowknife Curling Center. 8 teams overall here right now that are all very much in the mix of things as we have now crossed over into the championship pool. Taking a look at this, there's only one undefeated team, Manitoba, Team Kers. They're 6-0 right now, but you look up behind them in the standings, you've got 4 teams all sitting at 5-1, so all within a game's reach right now. Only the top 4 teams in this 8-team pool are going to move onto the semifinals in order to have a chance to represent Canada at the 2024 World Mixed Curling Championship. Northwest Territories starts with the hammer in this game as Colleen Jones playing lead here, 6-time Canadian champion. And they're going to play early on into the house. As many as 6 teams realistically still in the mix here for any of those 4 final playoff spots. It just goes to show, I think, how crucial these opening draw to the buttons will be. Is very likely they could have a very big impact in regards to the standings and who will qualify for those final 4 spots. It's Megan Keller here, throws lead stones and makes the hit. Doesn't stick in the house, and so I believe we'll probably see Nova Scotia here do the same thing. Fleming and Cooey, head-to-head as skips, have only met 3 times actually in their careers. One of the more recent times was actually at the 2022 mix, which was in Prince Albert last year. Cooey in the Northwest Territories, they won that game 7-4 in a preliminary round victory. Cooey, of course, went on to win the bronze, as mentioned, and then twice they played at the Brier. 2022, Nova Scotia picked up that win 11-5, and then you have to go back to 2013 for their other appearance. That was in Edmonton. Northwest Territories winning that event. So we have Keller settle into the hack here. Administrative Assistant, Policy Legislations and Intergovernmental Relations. She works with the Department of Health and Social Services. She gets the unfortunate miss here. So this will open up an opportunity here early. And that's Luke Saunders there, playing second, son of the great Colleen Jones. He competed in his first ever Brier in 2023. Big breakthrough moment as we see a lot of these younger curlers coming up from Nova Scotia who are now getting their chance at the Brier and overtaking Luke's teammate here, Paul Fleming. He was curling with Matt Manuel. Of course, that's one name. Owen Purcell, another name to be on the lookout for in Nova Scotia. Cole Parsons trying to run back, just off though. Leaving that shooter around, but another opportunity now to guard, and you have to love that shooter also stuck around for some extra protection. Saunders, a tennis pro, the Wigwoltic Club. Played college tennis in Tennessee, Chattanooga. Gets that one dead on here, but another run back opportunity for Cole Parsons. Parsons, president, the Yellowknife Curling Club, has been like that for a few years. Jams, but leaves it open now. Leaving Paul here with a choice. Potentially is looking at a guard, but here without last rock, and you've got a couple of, now you've got a corner guard, you've got a center guard, you've got a lot that you can work with and kind of get behind here. So it is allowing Nova Scotia here to start with a little bit more of an aggressive game plan. It's always fun to see in the first end as Marley Powers here throws. Fiance to Luke. She is a planning and logistics manager with Nova Scotia Health Redevelopment. Responsible for all the furniture, the fixtures, and the equipment of the healthcare redevelopment projects all across the province of Nova Scotia. She places that beautifully at the top button. Is poking out the other side though here. Anyone, of course, who is familiar with the Scotties might recognize this face, Margot Fleming. She's curled at 3 Scotties Tournament of Hearts now, well, along with Carrie Galusha. Just clips that guard. Opens it up. Nova Scotia sitting 2. Really has the Territories team chasing this opening end. Saunders played varsity volleyball with the Dalhousie Tigers, won 2 Atlantic University sport titles, played at 2 CIS championships. Now playing in a Canadian curling championship alongside her husband-to-be, mother-in-law. Kind of leaves Margot with the same shot here, just enough exposed here for her to take a look at this. Looks like from the hack though, Margot seeing something else. They like the run back here. Can certainly get both going here. If you come across the face and get the roll to the side as well, open up that center for Jamie. Comes across, just misses. Playing to protect their own shot stone right now. Looking for that top 12, kind of just in front of the house here. Fleming competed at 10 Briars in his history here. As mentioned, won 2 Canadian mixed championships in 1999. That was when his first one ever that he played in, as well as 2003. Of course, there was no additional carrot at the end, or an extra little carrot at the end of the stick back then, with no world championship event at that time. And I'm sure Fleming would love that opportunity to get a chance. This one coming in deep, so Luke's bringing it in. We're looking to get it frozen right on. That's pretty good. Locked on, so they call an audible here as that one goes just a little bit deep. Cooey, Fleming now here, just trying to figure out where exactly they need to hit this to try and get both of them going. Locked on pretty tight, but it would be an absolute bonus here to hit that one on the broom side, get your shooter rolling, and hopefully get it behind cover there of that one that is top 8. Cooey now works for the Gwich'in Tribal Council as the COO. Spends a week in Nunavut and then 3 weeks in Edmonton. So they get the roll the other way there. Comes out a little too far though, as that one is exposed. We'll have just a sliver here to look at, but if Nova Scotia removes this, they're looking at a great force here in the opening end. Colleen Jones and her son Luke on the sweep here. I thought Colleen would maybe fill in at the vice role, but Colleen Jones is doing as Colleen Jones does. She's such a fierce competitor. It's been taking on that front end role beautifully all week long here. So Nova Scotia making no mistake there. So we're looking at a force. Jamie Cooey here in the Northwest Territories, starting with Hammer. Broom is down. Parsons holding it, letting it curl up. Makes no mistake, as the Northwest Territories will take a 1-0 lead after the first end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. pull up a seat, or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands, Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to the Swift Current Curling Club. Canadian Mixed Curling Championship underway. It's part of the larger innovation plex here in Swift Current. Right next door, the Swift Current Broncos out on the ice doing a little practice. They had a game last night. And of course, right here next door, 14 the best Canadian mixed curling teams in the country, all duking it out here for a chance to win the Canadian Mixed Championship. We saw a great first end force from Nova Scotia, and they will get the hammer here. And as you can see from how the guards have been placed right now, tight center, corner guard, looking like game on from both teams here. Colleen Jones just putting that, or sorry, that was Megan Keller rather, putting it just back button there. So it does leave a little bit of a pocket in an area here for Colleen Jones to be able to find a freeze. Colleen just retired from her role as a reporter, 36 years at CBC. To celebrate, went on a 3-week cycling trip with her husband, all through the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and then finished it off with the boss, Bruce Springsteen, a concert in Zurich, Switzerland. And look at that, she makes no mistake with a great shot to freeze that up. As Cole Parsons settles into the hack, works for NAV Canada at the Yellowknife Airport as an air traffic controller. Competed with Jeremy Hardy when he grew up in Alberta. Was always a fan of Kevin Cooey and his team and Jamie, and then when he moved up to the Northwest Territories, thought his curling would be done until Jamie reached out to him asking to join him. So that was the case, and he's curled at a couple different Briars now at this point. It's competed at 3, either playing at the front end for Team Cooey. Was just heavy on that attempt. And Nova Scotia just getting another chance to really attack this end. We got all 3 sweepers here. Can they get it there? They're around the center. They're trying to just drag it up. Leaves that drop path open here, though. And I tell you, the next team that can lock one in there is going to be sitting very nicely in this second end. So Parsons here now playing the intern side. They got to be close. They can't flirt too closely to that corner guard. This one, though, really takes off. Over curls, it actually comes around to that out-turn side now. So now Luke getting another chance here. just rubbing that guard, so neither team quite able to find that draw path, and now that center is getting really junked up. Hard to see a draw path that's going to work, so Kui here wants to rearrange things. Kind of take control of the top of the house again. Removing that red, want to roll to the inside, which would then punch over that yellow that's at the top 12. It would hopefully give Northwest Territories a couple of different looks that they could potentially have. A lot of weight here for Margot Fleming. Putting it down. Clipped that yellow one maybe a little bit more than what they were hoping. It does open up a path right now. Both ends here have had a lot of action. Makes for a fun game. Marley Powers, also a 2009 Optimist International champion. Kind of the precursor to the Canadian U18. This one sinks in. Little too much weight. They wanted that one to stop a little bit top house to block off that draw path. That's not happening here, and that just expands the pocket here. So Fleming, PhD student researching the use of geostatistics and remote sensing to better monitor snow cover. Studies at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, works remotely though, while living in Yellowknife. Parsons, can he get this one over? Sits there, it looks like the Territories here are second and third. Powers will get a similar shot to what she had just thrown. Always nice when you can get those second chances. Waiting for this one. You see Luke switching sides here. He's going to help try and just push this one over. Tap that one back. Now, what do you do if you're the Territories? Corner freeze onto the red. That's on the left-hand side. We're looking at maybe playing the hit and then the roll in. But if you're the Territories, I think you are thrilled to force Nova Scotia to one here, and that looks to be the call here. aiming a corner freeze on that red rock that's just on the left-hand side in the top 4. Essentially eliminate any kind of draw path that might be there for Nova Scotia to try and count 2 on that side. As the Territories are second and third shot. This team, of course, has been so close to getting into that gold medal game. You know, that's something that's definitely on the radar for them this year. That one over curls. So if you're Nova Scotia, how do you try and get a second one in there? The pure draw path just doesn't look to be there, and you can kind of see from the right-hand side of the screen that now with that center guard there, that path is just not there, so they're looking at coming the other way here. Very tough here, though, with that top 8 rock. It doesn't really leave a lot of room to necessarily finish or curl in. So it looks like maybe more they're just going to be looking for potentially trying to get it in. If it over curls, you do have a raise attempt, and then you have a couple of rocks to look at there for your last one. Fleming, owner of Harbor Fish and Fries. Little fish fry truck and restaurant. Coincides perfectly with this curling season, as the off season for the restaurant is curling season for him. Both Jones and Saunders on the broom, trying to touch that one up. Beautiful shot from Mr. Paul Fleming to sit 1 and 2 now and really surround that button. That doesn't leave the Territories with a lot of options here. I think if you blast that one, that's going to come at the expense of some of the Territories' own Yellowstones getting kind of pushed out. Could leave a lot of red in Territory, and it could be a potential big end. So it's certainly tricky. Tough decision here for the Northwest Territories after a great shot from Paul Fleming and the team from Nova Scotia. Looks like they will elect to plug up this hole and plug the path for anything else. limit the damage. I think maybe allowing a force of 2 or allowing them to score 2 would be probably the best result after this end. That's exactly what they'll do. Going to plug that path, removes any type of draw or raise that would have been available. It could be a big weight shot here, though. Hitting that Yellowstone, rolling your shooter in, but that should also hit that red-yellow combination there, and it might just spin your other red that's on the left-hand side in as well. The Reds are in good position for this. Also looking at the angle raises there. So it looks like a yellow in the middle there at the center line into that red, getting it to clip off of the yellow in the top 8, have it roll in, kind of hit off that red-yellow combination and roll in. Could be an exceptional shot here from Paul Fleming. Potentially for 3. Maybe even a few more if he hits this perfectly. All right. Big opportunity for Nova Scotia here. They need this one to curl, though. Curling. There it is. Runs it just by. So that will be a score of 2 here for Nova Scotia. They'll take a deuce in this second end and a 2-1 lead. And we'll be back shortly here as we get into third end action right away.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Back at the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Do a quick little look around the rings here, starting with New Brunswick and Saskatchewan. New Brunswick here looking to get the hit here, but right now we can tell you that it's 1-0 New Brunswick. Moving over Alberta, starting off with a great 3-ender up against Ontario. They take a 3-1 lead, and that's going to be a must-win or very close to must-win for Alberta here as they try and remain in that playoff hunt. Then moving over one sheet, we got the undefeated Manitobans who currently have a 1-0 lead over Prince Edward Island as they look to continue that incredible streak that they've been on so far. And then, of course, we have our sheet as well, which we've been following here. Nova Scotia 2-1 lead over the Northwest Territories. And after seeing two ends with quite a few rocks in play, things look to be settling in here a little bit more. Open house as we head into our next rock of the lead stones. Megan Keller being asked to throw the corner guard. She comes from a curling family. Her grandpa, Al Delmage, very accomplished curler. Inducted into the Curling Canada Hall of Fame. She's competed at a few Scotties in the past and has served as the alternate for Team Kerry Galusha in the past few seasons. Top four is the call here for Nova Scotia. All of them bringing it in here now, trying to get it as far into the house as they can. The double corner attempt here. They're attempting to use that corner here. Brooms are not down here as Cole Parsons throws. Margot Fleming trying to work this over here. They need it to grind though to a bit of a halt, but also trying to get it over as far as they can. Settles back 8. That center, or that corner guard, though, still up far enough that there's definitely room to get at that. Backline weight here is the call. Saunders makes that no problem. Curled at the New Holland Canadian under-21 level before. Curled in 2013, that was in Fort McMurray. Lost the semi-final to Manitoba's Matt Dunstone. That was Matt Dunstone's first ever Canadian championship that he won. Hit and roll opportunity here, but that's not going to come to fruition here for the Northwest Territories as they nose that one. Paul Fleming calling the line here, looking to get that one over. Ooh, they clip it, but is the shooter going to stick? Oh, it does. So they get that nice hit and roll there. Paul Fleming will be heading to the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships early December. Be curling with Peter Burgess, Marty Gavin, Chris Grancelli. If there's a Canadian championship to be played in, I think you can guarantee that Paul Fleming will be part of it at some point or another. Both those rocks now behind the tee line gives the Northwest Territories an opportunity. They would just love to freeze on one, but they just haven't quite been able to get that weight right there. And with that top yellow not really in play, it's a good opportunity here for Nova Scotia to split the house. They don't need to play it too aggressively here. I think they'd be thrilled to force the Territories to one and get that hammer back. For a fairly cheap price, it'd be a good bargain. Now trying to bring that back as far as they can. Cooey ignoring it though. Cooey needs to play a little more aggressively. He needs to get some rocks in behind that corner guard that is set up there. So he's playing the hit and roll, or asking Fleming to play the hit and roll here. Margot Fleming also has a Paul Fleming who is here watching the game. No, I'm not talking about the curler. I'm talking about her dad who is here, also of the same name. He's an amateur snooker player. He's competed for Canada on the world stage. Lo and behold, here we are in Swift Current with two Paul Flemings in our midst. Fleming clips, and that's just been the story for this Northwest Territories team so far through the first three ends. And the Nova Scotians really just taking advantage of the opportunities that are being given to them here. Best guard is fourth shot on this. Northwest, or the Nova Scotia, looking to bring this one in tight. Really want to block that draw path off. If they leave it up too far, then it just allows the Northwest Territories more of an opportunity to really sink one in behind there and freeze on it. It's Nova Scotia saying, hey, why don't we take that away? Play it a little bit more tight. Let's make it a little more difficult. Yeah, it might set up the run back double, but at the same time, I don't even think he would be shot if you place this at the top 8. Brooms down. Jones and Saunders trying to bring this one as far as they can. So I don't think they got that quite as tight as they were hoping to. Yeah, and that does leave an out here for Jamie Cooey. Of course, you know his siblings, Kevin Cooey and Kerry Galusha, perennial favorites and contenders at the Scotties and the Brier. The Territories really need to make this. Good communication by the guard, no problem. They need it to sit down, and they get it very nicely covered there, top of the button. And no reason for Nova Scotia to do anything else except just put a cap on this one. Sit corner freeze, and that pretty much guarantees that the Northwest Territories will have to settle for one. Saunders, Jones, waiting, just waiting for this one to make its way over. They have to really be patient for that. Too wide, too deep. Leaves an out here and an opportunity for the Northwest Territories. Nova Scotia was just trying to be so patient, waiting for that opportunity for that rock just to curl in enough. They really needed to get that corner frozen. Now a light little tap opportunity here. They just have to nudge that redstone back foot and a half or so. Have that their shot rock stay. And they're going to be looking at 2 here. We'll be taking a lead potentially. So big opportunity. It shows you just how crucial and important those skip stones are. You can have a whole team in front of you curling 80, 90%, and sometimes though that one miss on the last rock is the most important, and that dictates the entire end, and it dictates the scoreboard. All right, Northwest Territories with an opportunity to score 2 here. Keller trying to bring this over. It's curling. They make the hit. And that looks close. So we get the overhead. Looked like to me that might have just been 1. But we'll take a break and then we can confirm for you after.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
And confirmed it was a score of 1 for the Northwest Territories. They needed to hit the inside of that rock and just get that roll in. The nose wasn't quite there enough for it. So opportunity for the Northwest Territories. But as we now head into the 4th end of action here, we have a tie game. Team Fleming and the Nova Scotia team with Hammer here did wonderfully with the hammer and scoring their 2 in that 2nd end, and looking to try and repeat that performance here. We're of course the Swift Current Curling Club for the 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. It's one of a couple of different major national curling championships that will be occurring here within the province. Of course, when we look ahead to March, we've got the 2024 Canadian Wheelchair Curling Championship, but I wanted to bring your attention to what will be happening in Regina from March 1 to 10. That is the 2024 Montana's Brier. First Brier, what will be under the new title partner of Montana's. Very excited. We know Regina always brings a rocking crowd with it as well. And if you want to be part of the action, it's not too late. There is a sweepstakes where you can win a once-in-a-lifetime Montana's Brier prize package. All you have to do is visit curling.ca/foundation. You'll see a sweepstakes link there where you can win essentially a round trip paid for and get a weekend closing package, hotel, accommodation, travel, everything paid for you. You also win autographed jerseys from the team of your choice for you and a guest, taking the final 3 days of the action there. That opportunity, though, you have to enter today. It's going to close tonight at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 10:59 here, local time in Saskatchewan. So you got to enter today if you want that chance. Curling.ca/foundation. Visit there. Everything and all of it is in support of youth curling across Canada. Saunders with Hammer playing the corner guard. Opportunity here for the Northwest Territories. They're going to try and get it play a little more aggressively here. They're setting up a center guard. Fleming will waste no time in his decision to go in behind that corner there that was just set up a couple throws earlier. Saunders as mentioned, son of Colleen Jones, and Colleen Jones has won a couple of Canadian mixed titles herself, including in 1993, which was also in Swift Current, and Luke was kind of there. Colleen was pregnant at the time with Luke out on the ice, so talk about coming full circle in this moment. They did curl together a couple years ago in mix, so it's not their first time at this opportunity, but to be able to come here back to Swift Current, that's means a lot to this family. Jones's other time winning the Canadian mixes in 1999, and that also happened not too far away in Kindersley, Saskatchewan as well. She won Scotties in 1982 as well. That was in Regina, so Saskatchewan, she says, has been a very good province to her when it comes to curling. Fleming hits and rolls. Looks like it's touching the back line. Doesn't look to be in play though. With those stones so far out, good reason for Nova Scotia to ignore it here. They want to really utilize that corner guard that was just set up. Need this one to hit the brakes though. They'll get that. Back a little further than I think they would have liked. It could be a serviceable stone. It's also far back enough though between where that corner guard is placed and where that rock landed that there is an opportunity here for Fleming to take a crack at this one and curl up behind that corner. Potentially sit a couple here. Cole Parsons holding the line, and this one is just sailing. So now trying to keep it on that high side so that they don't bump it in. But it's gonna catch the paint. So that's a big opportunity for Nova Scotia here. Is now all of a sudden, yeah, that one in the back 12 that they were not paying attention to earlier looks pretty juicy now. It looks like one that you definitely want to pay some attention to. Board weight here from Marley Powers. They want to clip this on the inside and get just a bit of a roll so they can use that one that's on the back line as some protection. Too thin though, so it just rolls over. That's a missed opportunity from Nova Scotia. Because now you've got that corner guard, you've got that center guard, you've got a lot of options to roll to here now. Kui gets ready to shoot. 16 Briers on his resume. Tons of memorable moments for him there. including a year in 2012 when he went 7-6 on the cusp of a playoff position. Gets the roll quite nicely behind that corner guard. Wonderful shot. It's been great ice conditions all week, and there's certainly a shot there for Paul Fleming in Nova Scotia. He's been so good at managing the ice conditions and working with the curl. That's really what players want at an event of this caliber as well. Love being able to make these shots. Anything that you see on the ice, they can do. So coming from the center line side, the intern. Need to skinny by, work the port. Want to get to as close to nose as possible. Trying to get this over. Just a bit more. They want to get it by. Great shot, but they just couldn't quite punch it back far enough to sit. 1 and 2. Matter of patience on a shot like that, because you need to make sure that it gets close to that nose so that it doesn't rub off of that one red in the side 12 as well. And the weight just not quite there. Nova Scotia sitting 1 with hammer. At this point now, Northwest Territories, they need to block that draw path off. They can't have this too deep, otherwise that will set up maybe a little bit of a tap or some kind of opportunity to score 2. So they want to really just sit this top 4, make this next draw as difficult as possible for the Northwest Territories, or for Nova Scotia. All right, here come the Northwest Territories on their last. Looking to sit about top 4. Just behind that center guard. Rooms are down. Parsons and Keller, they're trying to drag this as far as they can. They need every inch. Hits the brakes though in the top 12. So that leaves a draw for 2 here for Nova Scotia, and they'll be playing it just on a bit wider of a path than what the Northwest Territories had just previously thrown. Been a wonderful week so far here in Swift Current. Beautiful setup here. The bleachers out on the ice. Everything inside has been nicely full all week long here. Truly is a curling city. Looking to regain this 2-point lead now, Nova Scotia. Sitting 1. As this one glides in beautifully, that's going to stop just at the top 4, right on the T line. Nova Scotia regaining the lead 4-2 at the 4th end break. Teams will take a break, so will we. We'll be back very shortly.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Back from our fourth end break here, and let's take a quick little score sweep. Saskatchewan, the hometown team, up 4-2 over New Brunswick. Both teams jonesing for a win here. Alberta maintaining its lead. You can see they've been really good with the hammer, scoring 2 threes, so they are doubling Ontario 6-3 right now. Manitoba still unbeaten and leading in their game against Prince Edward Island. They're up 4-1. And of course, our feature sheet, a battle between 2 5-1 teams. Nova Scotia leading the Northwest Territories 4-2. It's been all about those opportunities with hammer. And Nova Scotia has just been executing. Northwest Territories did have an opportunity on a pretty tough tap. It wasn't a gimme by any means. It was a tough shot. Couldn't quite execute, so now they're still kind of in this force score two, but they're the ones being forced. Nova Scotia bringing that one up as far as they can. Cooey, though, in Northwest Territories, we know they are going to be all in on trying to execute and score at least 2 this end, so they're going to throw the corner guard. It's Megan Keller. Currently taking classes in her non-existent free time, is keeping very busy to become a birth and postpartum doula. She makes a nice corner guard here. Both these teams 5-1, so crucial to really keep that momentum going once you get into the championship pool. But that, of course, is easier said than done when you're taking on the teams, the best of the teams from the pool opposite of you. Rarely any free games on the bingo card, and especially at this point of the week, you really have to be showing up and giving your A game. So that's Colleen Jones throwing the lead stones, the 6-time Canadian women's champion, and she gets that one not quite, about edge to edge on that one there. Which is also good. They didn't really necessarily need to line things up in what would basically be a very close, or not an automatic, but an easier run double to make. Now that with that Red Rock being so tight to the house, the Territories, they needed to get that one around that corner guard. Instead, they clip it more off to the side. Widens that gap on the side, but it also pushes your corner guard over. Now that, looked at that, tapping that yellow, it would, yellow-red combination. The yellow would look to spin in, and it would leave some kind of maybe double available and open up the house and get rid of those center guards. They're going to ignore that. They seem to like it as is right now. Going to play the come-around draw. Trying to hold this. They can get it by. I think the weight is close. Just going to tick off of that, though. So now the Territories liking where this yellow one is. I think you hit that on the beak. That's going to redirect the yellow into the house, potentially sitting behind cover. We'll run that red back. We should be able to get rid of one at the very least. Cole Parsons with the throw. They needed to curl just a bit more. They'll touch it. So both those reds stick around. Yeah, so you can see it just at the back of the house. But it does look like the Northwest Territories is sitting shot. However, not behind any cover. So naturally, Nova Scotia here is going to attack that one. Gets the hit and just clips that one off in the back there too. So Nova Scotia sitting one, maybe a potential biter up there. It's hard to tell. But everything is so far out that now Jamie Cooey and the Northwest Territories are gonna have to work with what they have here in this setup. The staggered center guards that they're going to try and draw behind. Keller and Fleming make the switch, kind of try and drag this one over. They need it under cover. It's just going to be peeking out. Hack Wade is the call. Broom was down for the hold, but there we go. That looks good. Makes no mistake. Sticking the shooter around as well. Cooey now will have to ignore that. These 8-end games, we hit the 5th end, this 4th end, it's already halfway through, and it leaves you with very limited opportunities to really try and make a move. So they'll work with what they have here to try and make this work out in their favor. The Territories bring that one around the centers. They'll get to top 8. Potentially shot. That's hard to tell between those two rocks that are there. Now with the way that those center guards are staggered, you can't really get at the yellow one nicely, but the red one, that's absolutely there. Paul Fleming looking to get about 2/3 of this from Marley Powers. Let it curl up, clips it, no problem. Now Nova Scotia sitting 2, maybe 3. And we'll see more of the same from the Northwest Territories, who are trying their best just to find a mistake from this Nova Scotia team that's been curling so well today. Try to drag it for every inch. Looks like they got shot out of this, but again, it's just peeking out. Fleming looking to get back to the Brier this year. He had competed most recently 2022, 21, 20. So he's on a bit of a string here, but a lot of young up-and-coming teams coming out of the province, including his teammate here, who is sweeping this stone. Luke Saunders represented the Nova Scotia at the Brier in 2023. Gets it by, clips it. Doesn't impact anything else that was on the side of the house, so straight pick, and another draw opportunity. Wouldn't have been the end of the world if they clipped or crashed or jammed on anything that's out at the side of the house there. Nova Scotia not looking for points this end. They really just want to try and prevent the Northwest Territories team from getting any type of big end here. You have to go into this championship pool with the mentality of win every game. You need to finish clear cut as best as you can, and obviously the best way to do that, win every game in front of you. Don't necessarily want to leave it up for chance later on, especially if it does come down to any tie-breaking scenarios when your draw to the button distances will come into effect. No tiebreakers played here at the Canadian Mixed Championship. Open hit here for Fleming on his last, which could lead to another force opportunity. Brooms down, calling the sweep. Saunders trying to keep this one online. No problem, hits it straight on the beak. And it's kind of interesting now because just with the way that landed, that blocks the draw path that this Northwest Territories team had been so familiar with. So now the Territories need to play the other side. They've got a bit of a port to that they need to go through. It's quite wide. It's definitely makeable. It's not too narrow, but it's something that's going to be in the back of the mind and something that the Territories team is going to have to be mindful of. They make a big draw here against 3, maybe 4. Needing full 8, the Northwest Territories. Parsons and Keller, they're on it. Through the port, no problem. And that'll stop, no problem. Great draw from the Northwest Territories to take their single. They now trail the Nova Scotia's team 4-3 after the 5th end. And we'll be back right after this.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands, Saskatchewan.
Welcome back. 2023 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Kyle Jans here on the call in this game between Nova Scotia and Northwest Territories. Big thank you to our friends at Curling Stadium for producing and bringing the action to you all week long on Curling Canada Plus. Live curling, every sheet covered, stream every game. And this sixth end, I think, is probably going to be the most crucial one of this game, as Fleming and Nova Scotia have been in complete control of this game, really finding ways to force their opponent to one and have been super efficient with the hammer. It's kind of a textbook game, force deuce, and now they are starting to see that the results come to fruition here as they have a 4-3 lead, and with the lead they also have the hammer in this end. It's making the Northwest Territories play really aggressive here as they need to come up with a steal to get back into this. So we're going to see double center guards from the Northwest Territories. Colleen Jones playing lead for this team. One of the most influential and exceptional curlers in the country. Total legend. And still competing at such a high level and with such a competitive drive. It's just incredible to see. She follows this one down. She gets by both centers beautifully and gets to that biting top 8. She's been a big factor for why this team has been curling so well and is at 5-1 so far this week. There is some real estate available inside the house here. Cole Parsons looking to get a plot of that. As the Territories bring this one over, trying to bring it for every inch. Great shot from Cole Parsons there. Top 8. It's definitely exposed though. Oh, sorry, not quite exposed. Exposed maybe when you look at that one center guard, but I've forgotten we got a nice double center guard here. They could make a pass at that if they wanted, but the Nova Scotia team making no mistake about this. They're going to play the peel. They don't need those rocks in play right now, especially with them having hammer. The first Canadian championship in a string of them that are going to be occurring over the next few weeks. So championship season is among us here. After the Canadian Mixed, attention will turn to the Assiniboine Memorial Curling Club in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 2023 Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships will be the week of the 18th to the 23rd, I believe. So that's coming up later on this week at this event, 19th to 25th. And then shortly after that, the 2023 Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships, December 3rd to 9th at the Vernon Curling Club in British Columbia. So a great little stretch here of curling to get you lasted all the way from here, all the way into the holiday season. All streaming will be available for those events on Curling Canada Plus. Saunders makes that straight peel. I mentioned earlier, Paul Fleming will be part of that seniors event. Fleming in her third Canadian Mixed Championship, two-time bronze medalist, was also elected most valuable player with her team here. Has one mixed doubles national appearance as well, along with her three-time Scotties participations. Made the most of her time as she works up in Yellowknife. Getting this great opportunity to curl as well. So this was the question I think that you might have as a viewer, is when do you start ignoring those center guards and when do you start making a play? And here on the first third stone, Nova Scotia looked close and they were going to consider it. But with the center guards being just a little bit closer together, they're going to take another crack at it here. Trying to get both going. Could be close. Exceptional shot from Marley Bowers there to really open things up with the double peel attempt. Great call from Nova Scotia. And really changes things now. Changes the game plan now here for the Northwest Territories as they're going to play the hit and roll. And in an end where they looked primed to potentially make a steal or at least have a chance. Making the hit. They needed that to stick. They needed that one to stay in the house. So now we've got a wide open end after seeing as many as 3 rocks up in the free guard zone. And we'll see after an exceptional shot that really just changed the end around Marley Bowers here, getting an opportunity to play a hit and roll, want to move this one off to the side, get this one off the center line. Looks close. Nudges it over that shot rock. Cooey with the hit. Like to roll this one out. Further away you get from the center line, of course, better opportunity you have for some kind of mistake to happen. Cooey throws some good weight at this. Parsons keeping that broom down the whole time. Hits across the face, rolls it over to the side 8. Could be leaving Nova Scotia in an interesting position of either maybe taking one for a 2-point lead or taking the blank. Have to think they'll go and elect with the blank, just given that this game, even though Nova Scotia has done a good job, I'd say, of outplaying their opponents, it's still very much within reach here of the Northwest Territories team. So he noses that. Oh, and there's a miss from Cooey. And so that takes the question out of it here, as the Northwest Territories have really missed their opportunity here to force Nova Scotia, Paul Fleming, with the draw for 2. Take a 6-3 lead if they can get this. What a turn of events after it looking so open here. Brooms are down. Anywhere in the paint will be good. And that'll be no problem at all for Nova Scotia, as they take a 6-3 lead after the 6th end of play here. We'll be back right after this.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
And here you come.
You just saw their visit curlingcares.com. Get your 2024 Men of Curling calendar today in support of so many great initiatives, not only across Canada, but across the entire world, including support for Curling Canada's For the Love of Curling Foundation program. And all funds for that go towards supporting youth curling across the country, from development to championships and everything in between. The youth are our future in this sport, and we want to do everything we can to support them in that. So get your calendar today. So we here are in the 7th end of a surprising turn of events. Said that 6th end might probably be the determining factor here, and could potentially be the nail in the coffin for the Northwest Territories team. Had an opportunity to at least get a blank out of this end and keep the game within reach. They were only trailing by 1, but Team Jamie Cooey flashing on that last hit left it wide open draw for Nova Scotia. Made no mistake in getting that deuce, and now have doubled the Northwest Territories 6-3 in the 7th end. Have one result that we can tell you about on the scoreboard, and it's a big one. Alberta defeating Ontario 9-3. That's an all-important win, because up until that point, Alberta was just 4-2. So by winning this game, they are going to be in that group of teams that has 5 wins, and there's a lot of them right now. So that's a really important game to leapfrog some opponents, especially when it comes to head-to-head records, which are going to be crucial, I think, as we get into the last couple days of the championship.
Matt, you can come to me on B if we want to go to other sheets too.
Wait, whenever you want to, just start talking about it, and I'll switch over to those cameras.
Now we see here, though, Nova Scotia sitting quite nicely. They have their 2 in the house here. Corner guards set up by Jamie Cooey and the team from the Northwest Territories, from the Yellowknife Curling Center. They're looking to bring this one tight as well. Nice little cluster of red rocks from Nova Scotia. And it keeps Northwest Territories in an interesting position. I mean, you look at that, it might look pretty juicy or tasty for some kind of double or big weight attempt to get some of that granite flying, but trailing 3 now. Northwest Territories need to keep as many rocks in play as possible, so they're just going to come at that cluster in the middle with some backline weight. Pardon me, take the backline weight around the pile rather, and then hope that they can use that rock later. And that's a good shot there. Peel attempt though. Those corner guards up, definitely favoring the Northwest Territories. Nova Scotia wanting none of that. Looking to keep this end as open as possible. Yeah, so this is really a big end of patience for the Northwest Territories. I think as an opponent, you hate to see your opposition stones all bundled all in there for sitting 1, 2, 3, and you'll be sure of it. The Northwest Territories will have to make a move at those rocks at some point, but it's more about what you can get going around the outside of the house at this point now. Sometimes it's always those biters or the rocks that are in the side of the 12 or the back of the 8 that you don't really think a lot about during play, and then all of a sudden they come back to bite you when you're looking at Skip's rocks, as the Territories just rub off that one in the top 8. Puts the brakes on it just enough for it to stop back 8. Looks nicely behind cover 2. Fleming, there's no urgency to go for that one yet. Straight peel. And then the Northwest Territories won't really have anywhere to hide after this. And as the Territories here discuss their last shot, one other final that we can update you on. Manitoba, Team Kyle Kurz, they're still undefeated after an 8-2 victory over Prince Edward Island. Big scores there, 3 in the 4th and 4 in the 6th. Put that game
Big
away,
side
and
cam,
Manitoba
Matt.
will be undefeated.
Good job.
So now, as mentioned, with nowhere really to hide at this point. Territories need to make a run at this on Margot Fleming's first shot in the third stones. Wanted to try and stay high side. So they get 2 moving. That opens things up, and now pretty good result here for the team from the Northwest Territories. Sitting 2nd and 4th, there's still that, of course, that one red rock at the side of the 12 that is out counting the 4th rock. It's all about elimination at this point now. But now, Nova Scotia sitting 1, 2, and 3. The Territories needing to get something going here. They're going to look for the hit and roll. They want to try and have this shooter stop somewhere at the side. They connect, getting the roll over. They need to lock on, but it just rolls over top. There's no reason for Nova Scotians to really keep this one lone yellow around in the house. Fleming will have a good look at this. The old school lift delivery. He sails this one out to the depths of the sheet on the side. Makes no problem at all. Connecting with that. Doesn't need to keep that shooter around. So that's going to force Jamie Cooey here to make one of the hardest shots in curling, a freeze. And they got to make this one just nicely in order to try and give them a chance for any type of score of 2. Would be a true skips deuce here. First stone for Cooey in this 7th end. They need to score at least 2 for a chance here. This one though, over curling, and the weight not quite there either. So Paul Fleming and his team from Nova Scotia here will hit their last here in the 7th end. Big weight, make it go away. Broom's down, out it goes, nose hit. So now Jamie Cooey has a draw against 3 here. Down 3, going to try and take 1. Brooms are down. Parsons and Keller going to try and bring this one in. Not the first time the Northwest Territories have had a draw against a couple here. As this one continues. Broom is down at the back. And that one looks like it sailed a little bit too far. That's a steal of 2. And that will be the game here as Nova Scotia picks up the win and improves to 6-1 over the Northwest Territories. Crucial win for them in this opening round of the championship pool. That's the last game on the ice as well, as it can confirm that Saskatchewan also took up the win over New Brunswick. So that wraps us up here for our first championship pool draw. Congratulations to Team Nova Scotia. And we'll be back on Curling Canada Plus later today. Thank you to our friends at Curling Stadium for bringing the action to you all week long. And until then, we'll see you next time. Good luck and good curling.